Welcome to another edition of Talk on Nevada. I'm Andy Matthews. What's the latest with the proposal for a new Las Vegas City Hall? Geoff Lawrence, a fiscal policy analyst at the Nevada Policy Research Institute, has been watching this story closely, and he's here with us today to give us an update. Geoff, welcome.
Thanks. Good to be here, Andy.
So tell us about the proposal being batted around for a new Las Vegas City Hall. What does it entail?
The city of Las Vegas wants to build this new city hall that, with financing charges included, could cost as much as $350 million, which is a significant chunk of change at this point in time when the city currently is kind of in a state of fiscal distress. They just today, a story came on the paper saying that they would have to cut employee salaries by 8% over the next 2 years just to maintain payroll. This city hall project could impose a costly new burden on taxpayers who live within the city of Las Vegas, and it appears to be largely unnecessary because the current city hall still meets the city's needs. The point behind this new city hall project is that it's intended to it's intended to spur further investment into the downtown area, and it's kind of it's a speculative real estate investment where they want to build this new palatial city hall, which, by the way, will be named after the mayor as kind of a monument to him, and this investment is being made with public money, hoping that private investors may want to build next to it, which could never happen.
Well, it sounds like at least the intention here is to try to spur some downtown development. You're pro economic growth. You think that having a good environment for businesses to thrive is a good thing. Where's the problem with this in your eyes?
There are a lot of problems with it. The first problem that stands out more than anything is that the point behind this project, as with many redevelopment projects, is that city officials like to say that it's a free lunch or they get something for nothing, and that it poses no cost on taxpayers. That's really not true. What happens is they invest these public funds into redevelopment projects such as the new city hall, and their hope is that it will that investment will increase the surrounding property values for the assessments that are made by city and county assessors for property tax purposes, and with the new property tax revenue that's generated, they'll be able to pay off the debt on the bonds issued to finance the construction originally. So it's kind of a big scheme that really amounts to increasing property taxes on the surrounding residents. So it's unfair to the residents who live within the redevelopment zone, for one thing. The second is that when the city tries to spur investment downtown by luring these private investors in, which is kind of a deal like that is associated with the City Hall deal, where there's the developer who wants to build a new City Hall would also get the land that the current City Hall is now sitting on, and they'd be able to build a casino on that land after the current City Hall is torn down, right? And they would get taxpayer money to do it, so the city would be paying part of the cost of their privately owned casino, and that's a huge issue because you're talking about corporate welfare at that point, where one politically connected firm has a competitive advantage over all of his competitors because he's favored by the government.
I mentioned at the beginning here that you've been following this real closely, and I know that there have been some significant developments with this just in the past week. Just kind of summarize those, bring everybody up to speed on what the latest is on this.
Well, this City Hall project initially elicited a lot of opposition from local taxpayers, and rightfully so. However, the Culinary Union, which is a very powerful union interest here in Southern Nevada, represents most of the casino workers. That they latched onto this taxpayer opposition and kind of took it on as their own. In fact, they several months ago they pushed some ballot initiatives that would have place stringent limits on the city council on what they could do in their guise as a redevelopment agency. And it would have required voter approval for all redevelopment projects, so that the voters would have some say over the debt burden that's being forced onto them. Yeah, those ballot initiatives were actually defeated in court because the city claimed that it would infringe upon their existing contractual agreements. But Culinary has fought the city on this project for about the past year, up until last week, when they reached a memorandum of understanding with the city, agreeing to drop their opposition to the project in exchange for the right to establish organized labor with any casino that's built using taxpayer subsidized funds, city funds. So that it appears that the entire time their claims were really disingenuous. In fact, that's what the city council members were saying the whole time, is that they were disingenuous and they just wanted to get labor contracts out of it. So the cities, they've conceded to Culinary's demands, and in exchange, Culinary's dropped their opposition. So they're in bed together now, and there's not any strong player that's fighting for taxpayer interests at this point.
Except for you, Geoff, of course, right?
Of course.
One thing I want to get into a little bit. It would seem, Geoff, that the stated goals, at least here in this new city hall, are noble if you take them at face value. We want to improve the economy. We want to encourage downtown development. You obviously have an objection to this current approach. How then do you encourage downtown development in a city such as Las Vegas? What are the alternatives?
Well, there are several approaches that have been tried in different places across the country. One of the approaches that I tend to favor is the one that was developed in Anaheim, California several years ago. The redevelopment model didn't rely on taxpayer subsidies. It didn't give corporate welfare handouts to politically favored firms, which that's the pathway to corruption when you run a redevelopment agency like that. Instead, what the city of Anaheim chose to do was to expand the usefulness of the existing plots of land. They used something called overlay zoning, for instance. It's one of the things they did, one of the many things they did, that allowed parcels of land to be used for many different purposes. Currently, they might be zoned for residential purpose, commercial, industrial, whatever. With overlay zoning, you basically allow the owner to use the property however he wants, and as a result, it tends to get marketed to its highest value use, which makes it profitable to sell to an investor that sees a market for a casino, for example, on a specific parcel of land. So there are a lot of options that can be done that essentially eliminate government barriers to investment, and that's the real problem, is that government barriers tend to drive away business, and the approach that's been taken here in Las Vegas is to buy off investors in order to get around those obstacles that they've raised. So,
all right, well, that's all the time we have for today, but important story. We'll continue to watch it. We'll have you back soon to talk about it. Thanks very much, Geoff.
Sounds good, Andy.
And of course, as always, we want to thank you for tuning into this week's edition of Talk on Nevada. We invite you to check us out on the web at npri.org for more information on this topic and other private solutions to public challenges facing our Silver State. Thank you. We'll see you next time.